Good day to you and welcome, I'm Epistory, and today I'm here to show you whether Epistory is any good. Now, Epistory is a little game developed and published by, if I remember correctly, Fishing Cactus, and it's one of those really interesting games that you really are glad that you have played. Most likely, it's at least in my case. Now, what is it? I'd say it has RPG elements. It's an adventure game with RPG elements, which is based around typing. Now, you move around a world with as a girl on the back of her fox. You move around, sometimes you get into combat, of which I will talk later on, and you more or less explore. That's your goal. But this is on the gaming level. There is one level underneath, or maybe above it, and that is that everything is a written story. And as you progress through the world, the words appear. You are being the muse to a writer. And that is an interesting spin-off, I have to say. Or twist. I haven't really played anything similar, even though there are games which are about writing. This one just ticks all the boxes right. It has a nice art style, which you can see right there. It has, even though I have to complain a bit that some people might, that the 3D quality isn't that high, but considering that they actually went for this paperly look, where everything is supposed to look a bit like origami, then the graphical fidelity or disfidelity is actually acceptable, because it really looks like folded paper. It really looks that everything is made out of paper. That's your goal. And some of the rougher edges, well, who cares anymore? If you are into if anyone complains about graphics with this game, well, then you aren't here for the game or for the story. The gameplay is the important thing right now. What's next is the combat, and I'm gonna explain how the game works slightly. Now, every single time you encounter combat, there are two ways, at least, to start combat. One is by pressing space or enter, and you enter this typing mode. This combat style can be used also for destroying some areas or actually growing new areas and these things, but it's more or less used for combat, or mainly used for combat. Now, the second way of entering combat is that you go into a platform which then spawns waves of enemies around you, and you have to shoot them all. The way the combat works is that every single enemy or object has a word above itself, and you have to write this word as quickly as you can. Even though this might sound somewhat easy, and yes, at the beginning it is easy, later on you get into enemies which consist of 12 or even 14 letter words. And if you have 3 of those coming at you, it's really hard. And I'm not someone who can type with all 10 fingers. However, during the time spent with this game, I have moved from typing with 6 fingers to 8 fingers, or maybe 9 even, which is an improvement. But I still had a hard time dealing with some of the enemies, and it was due to the difficulty, because there are let's say 4 difficulty options. There is easy, there is medium or normal, and there is hard. Now, these are, let's say, general ones, and then you have adaptive difficulty. Now, the better you get, the harder the enemies are, which is really nice. But I also got to the point where the difficulty was so high that I wasn't able to do anything, and it was maybe partially because I wasn't able to write as quickly, or maybe I was a little more exhausted, and also it was connected to the fact that I got a lot of XP, a lot more XP than was probably intended, because as an experienced gamer I just knew how to, let's say, properly sequence stuff so that I got more combos. If you destroy more stuff and enemies, there is every single time you destroy an enemy, there is this bar, which takes about 5 or 6 seconds. You can also improve it, and then if you destroy anything else within this time span, you get a bonus, and you can scale this. So you can, at sometimes, like at the beginning, you get like 5, 10, 15, 25, 35, 50, and it scales like this. But as you continue, it grows insane. Once I had like 9,000, and it actually adds about 300 or 400 per another kill or hit, which is ridiculous. And I went into areas which were supposed to be, let's say, they open at 30,000 XP, and I had 90,000. Maybe it was difficult because of that, but maybe it was also easier, and I'm just really dumb and bad at this game. Now, one of the other strengths of this game are the unlocks. Even though they are somewhat generic, they really help. And well, that's it. I really like the unlocks. They give you some kind of option, because there are 3 types of enemies, or 3 other types of enemies, maybe 4. I'm not sure right now. And you have to switch between fire, between ice, and the others, or maybe you can. And depending on that, and depending on your style, you might actually choose whether you want to burn them or whether you want to freeze them. Because burning gives you like a free word, because the next word is gonna burn, but the freeze one actually stops them from moving for, if you improve it, a rather long time. Now, one other thing that I haven't really talked about is the world. The world is big. The world is interestingly done, and it's a nice piece of design overall. You backtrack, you run around, and there's every single time there's something new. It's never this static world where you just cleared it and that's it. Enemies appear, enemies disappear, new areas appear. Really, really well done. And I just love it. Love this thing. There is, however, one issue that I have to address, and that is performance. I have been able to run it at 16 to 900 and beautiful settings, which are the second best. But running it on 1080p and fantastic or even beautiful setting set me down to 20 up to 24 FPS, which I don't really understand, because the game, even though it looks nice, I understand that it shouldn't require that much power, considering that I was able to run Fallout 4 on medium settings, 16 to 1900 and at 28 FPS. This running on 16 to 900 and medium or high settings at 30-35 FPS is just not that good. However, I also have a laptop, so this might be an issue, but it should work on laptop. Epistory Typing Chronicles is a game with nice art style, amazing idea, and well-designed world. What is more than a lot of games can actually provide is the language support. Even though it is not fully voiced, you can play this typing game in your own language if you are a speaker of one of the larger languages, meaning French, German, even Polish, I think, or Russian. The problem might sometimes be the difficulty, where it might be too easy or too hard depending on which setting you set, because the adaptive difficulty can give you some nice advancements, but it might simply get too hard and you will want to switch to normal later on. The only real issue that I have with this game is its performance, just because it should simply run better. My final verdict for this game is that it's great. Even though it has some issues, it's still a great game. Epistory is currently available for 14.99 euros or your regional equivalent on Steam. Considering how the game actually feels and what it is, I have to say that it's a nice price. because you can see that they have actually put some thinking into it, and probably even a piece of heart. Not the full heart, but the heart's there. So I would say that for $14.99 it's actually a good price. I hope that you enjoyed the video, and if you did, don't forget to like it down below as it gets me higher in traffic. Feel free to comment below if you have any ideas about this game, then I would like to hear them. Also feel free to take a look at other content on this channel, and if you like that, go and right away subscribe to this channel. If you want to help me out, just send my videos to your friends, because that's the best way to create new community. Well, thanks for watching and see you next time.